motorheads, in your soldiers on into 2014 with more goodies for you to oogle over. First, we bring you Scandinavian motoring at its best, the Volvo V40 T5, one wearing a suit and the other in combat trousers. Then we look at a quick fix to boost your car's lungs. Finally, headlamps that adds a sparkle to your car's eyes. Enjoy! Let's talk a little bit about heritage, shall we? Well, I want to talk about brand heritage in particular. The Volvo brand has been around for many years in Malaysia. And well, three words that would normally be used to describe the Volvo brand as well as the Volvo products include safe, strong and secure. Now fast forward to 2013 and with our proud heritage behind us, we want to revisit the Volvo brand. Now the words are somewhat similar, but there's something new. Yes, it is still safe. Yes, it is still strong, but hey, it's sexy. A Volvo being sexy. Can you believe it? Well, I can. And what we're going to do today is we're going to find out exactly how sexy this car is. Because on the skin, it already looks sexy. But how sexy is it inside? Let's go and find out. It's all about the first impressions, right? And the first impression that you would have driving this Volvo V40 T5 is one of maturity. Definitely feels very mature in here. The design language is very elegant. It's very Swedish. You've got very smart looking interior. It's almost IKEA-like, but with much more finesse to it. And when I say finesse, what do I exactly mean by the finesse? The general look and feel of the cabin is one of a well thought of premium quality, really sophisticated feel and look to it. All right. Now, how do I qualify that now? For example, let's look at this wing mirror over here, this rear view mirror here. It's almost frameless and you can see only the mirror itself, and it looks very elegant. It looks like a jewel. This instrument cluster over here is very beautiful. It's the entire thing is actually an LCD screen, and you actually don't get needles. In fact, you can change the way it looks. You could choose the themes. You could go from performance to eco to elegance, and it's just very beautiful to look at. There are slight variations. If you go to elegance, if you choose the elegance mode, you have the RPM meter on the right. Eco, still RPM, but performance, you have what is called power. And I would imagine this is the a visual representation of what sort of torque you have. And generally speaking, so the verdict is it's a very sophisticated place to be in. What about the driving feel? And what about the sitting position and the ride and the handling? A hot hatch, this is definitely not, because of the smoothness and the creaminess of the ride and the general feel of the drive. You don't get a rush like you're driving a proper hot hatch like the Golf GTI or the Megane RS 265 or even the 250, but power is there, but the delivery, it does not egg you on, and that's, I think, one of the most important things to consider when considering this car. You will get your firepower, but the way it's presented to you is on a silver platter, if I may call it that. The ride itself is very supple. It's quite compliant. It is not very harsh, and it definitely does not throw you about too much. But then again, you would expect this from this sort of vehicle. Again, the thing to remember and consider is that this is not a hot hatch. It is a hatch with firepower under the hood, but you cannot pretend that it needs to wear the suit of a proper sports car like vehicle like the Golf GTI, as I mentioned. The ride is not crashy, it is supple, it is comfortable, it's great. I'm sure this car would be great if you were to take it out on the autobahns and the highways and go for a long distance cruise. It's very comfortable. For the people in front, I haven't quite looked at the back. I shall in a second. But generally speaking, the overall comment is very comfortable place to be in. Very sophisticated looks that does not punish you, and it does not compromise on comfort and plushness. And one thing you gotta admit, definitely these days Volvos make really good looking cars. It's not the boxy stuff that you remember it to be. It's got curves and lines like you've never seen them before. And I think that's a brilliant thing because it's really bringing the heat to the German players. And for once you can actually consider Volvos to be sexy little things. And you've got the proportions of this hatch is just wonderful. The lines just flow really nicely. It gives you this idea that it's, you know, go faster because it just tapers off there. And then this boomerang tail light just looks great in daylight as well as at night. However, there's just one thing that I think is completely bonkers about the design of this car, and the wheels. Look at it. It's actually got something written here: aerodynamic disc concept. I've never seen anything like it. 18 inches of bunkers on wheels in a disc. That's what this is. I digress. You know what? I actually had more of a poke in this car, and whilst I am not going to change my mind that this is not a hot hatch, this is definitely egging towards that side of the scale. It is actually very engaging to drive, and the power delivery is actually much punchier than when I first initially thought that, I thought it was too creamy, right? Well, actually it's got a little bit more kick to it than my first impression. However, it remains that this is a hatchback from Volvo, and apart from the sexy looks and the good drive, it doesn't set you apart. You know, it's a hatchback, it's a continental car, it's got pretty good performance. So vanilla with a slight tinge of spice in it, but vanilla nonetheless. If you want something a little bit more rocky road, check this out. Now, this here is the Volvo V40 T5 cross country. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. It's actually the same car as the car we had earlier, but well, it's wearing a different armor, and also it rides taller as well. What we're gonna see, what did I say just now? That car was vanilla with a little bit of spice, and this is rocky road. We're gonna see exactly how much of a rocky road this Rockstar is. Well, what do you know? All of a sudden we've got options. You can either choose to go with armor or a smart suit, elegant or rugged. And that's only the T5 range, because of course the V40 also comes with a lower engine displacement and lower power output. So hey, you've got an entire bank of V40s to choose from. Now, what I think is the best thing about this car is that it's a sorted package. It's got a lot to offer you, but the entry price is not that bad after all. In fact, the funny thing is, in Europe, this car is actually positioned higher than some of the other German counterparts. Over here, unfortunately, or rather maybe fortunately for us, it's actually cheaper than some of the other German hot hatches out there. So the decision is yours on whether you want to be sweet or you want to be German. Now, of course, the one final factor here is this. When you buy a Volvo, you don't only buy it for the performance and the design. At the end of the day, you buy a Volvo because you want to be safe for yourself and also for your family. And that tradition remains true throughout all the years, right until today. Stay with us, we've got a lot more on In Gear. But for now, hope you have a sweet time.